Well, it falls to me to moderate this final session of this, as this symposium starts drawing to a close, that I found extremely informative, very interesting, if slightly intense at times, I have to admit. It falls to me to outline the last few posters as well that we have received. Let's see now. So I've only got, I think it's 4 slides, so I'm not going to go through in a huge amount of detail. Quite a large number, actually. There was 9 videos and 35 posters with a geographical origin, as you can see here, a number from Korea, a couple from Europe, a couple from the Philippines, 1 from Venezuela, and the remainder of the sort of suite, if you like, of ICRP posters covering the work of ICRP. Really quite a diversity of topics, but largely of a kind of practical application type nature, not completely true. And I'm just going to sort of précis more or less the titles in going through this final set, this particular slide. So the first concerned external doses to workers in the phosphate industry, and particularly decommissioning of that. Then a poster describing a cesium contamination in a facility where there was a disused source incident. So again, a very practical matter, as you can see. Then consideration of using bio-waste-derived calcium carbonate for radiation shielding applications. Then some work on Monte Carlo simulation of X-ray scattering through concrete with embedded lead, so the kind of shielding topic there. Physical security, as the source security being very important, of disused cobalt therapy sources in Venezuela, in South America there. Then maybe not such a practical one, but one on radon risks and alternatives to non-LET dose risk model applications. A review of spent nuclear fuel repackaging and disposal facilities internationally. And then a poster that concerned norm waste disposal and the hydrological characteristics affecting exposures that might arise from that waste disposal. Then finally, activated radionuclides in concrete exposed to protons and Monte Carlo modeling of that. So those were the sort of the non-ICRP posters there. I imagine the posters actually physically in the room next door will be going down soon. I believe they remain online for quite some time for people to look at, and I would really encourage you to do so, because there's some interesting topics there for sure. And then just to summarize the ICRP posters in one slide, because as I say there's a good number of them, 30 odd, something like that. So they cover sort of some of the main bodies, if you like, of ICRP as an organization, the main commission, its committees 1 through 4, the secretariat, the mentorship program, 4 of the most recent publications, 153 that concerns veterinary practice, 154 which is concerned with optimization in digital radiography, 155 which is the specific absorbed fractions for pediatric individuals, 156 on mesh phantoms, a remarkable computational task there, and a number covering, I think, most of, but maybe not quite all of, the current task group activities. So that really covers the final posters. So thank you for your attention through that. I encourage you to view them online if you can't do so physically anymore. So I think now, we will really start formally the closing session of this 3-day symposium. And I'd like to invite Werner Room, ICRP's chair, as you know, to provide some remarks.
So, it's a pleasure now to give the final or closing remarks from my part. I just wanted to remind you what the purpose of the symposium was. It was first to explain the ICRP plans for the future of the system of radiological protection to a broad audience, and we had indeed a very broad audience, and also to discuss and get feedback on those plans. But in addition, and this was new in a way, that we now begin to provide first ideas of work, which is currently undertaken in various ICRP task groups, and which is related to the review of the system of protection, just to make you aware and inform you what's currently going on. And this is an online information, so maybe next or in 2 years, there may be different information already available, but this is the current status we are right now. And finally, also to expose ICRP to the Japanese situation in radiological protection. And for me personally, it was really a very, very important experience to visit Fukushima last week together with the whole main commission. And this is one exposure to the situation here in Japan as far as radiological protection is concerned. Now let me give you some very brief statistics about the symposium. Well, we had more than 620 on-site registrations, plus 80 online registrations, which means that we have more than 700 registrations from almost 60 countries. And if you look at the online registrations, already this demonstrates that this was the biggest event ever organized by ICRP in the 95 years history ICRP is existing. It was a huge event for us, for ICRP, and this is thanks to you all who participated. Well, if you look at the participants by country, well, there were many from Japan, the Republic of Korea, United States, then Canada, and some European countries. And this again demonstrates that, of course, it's important that ICRP, as much as we can, organize symposia on all continents, because it increases ICRP visibility on the one hand, but on the other, it also allows, in a way, local participation. So it's not surprising that many participants came from this area here. Last year in Vancouver, there were many more from Canada, for example, and North America. So that's why we, if at all possible, organize our symposium every second year in different areas, regions of the world. Now, presentations, posters, more than 100 live presentations, more than 270 posters specifically dedicated to the symposium here. We already heard that there are other events, satellite events, for example, annual meetings of the Japanese Radiation Research Society and the Japanese Health Physics Society, who also had their posters here. But those 277 were just the posters submitted for the symposium. We had more than 50 pre-recorded videos. Now, we are planning again proceedings of this event, of the symposium, and the proceedings will include, of course, a summary of the symposium, session summaries from our rapporteurs, a few key lectures, key papers, for example, paper on the Bo-Lindell lecture, paper on the Cousins Award. It will include all abstracts and additional papers as an electronic annex. So the work for us, for the ICRP Secretariat, is not yet finished, by far, not yet finished. But again, it was the biggest event we had ever organized. But of course, when I say we, there were many more here who participated and who supported this event, who supported ICRP. I first want to mention our exhibitors. We had 9 exhibitors here who showed their products, their work, just outside of this room. We had a lot of local support by various committees, and you see alone the names, the number of names who worked behind the scenes, most of them from Japan, from Tokyo, demonstrates already how big this event was and how much efforts were related, associated to make such kind of event possible. And I really, on behalf of ICRP, would like to thank the local organizers in particular who made this all possible. There was so many people working behind the scenes. You may have not seen them. I mean, it was just so much work. So thank you very much for the local organizers. And I think this is one applause, I would say. No, wait a minute, I'm not yet finished. I'm not yet finished with my presentation. I don't know why it stopped. Yes. So we had also sponsors, very important, because as you know, ICRP is a charity. We practically have no money, but we are working for the public benefit. So we need support, and those are sponsors who really helped us to make this event possible. And finally, special thanks to QST, the National Institute for Quantum Science and Technology, the Nuclear Regulation Authority here in Japan, the Japanese Radiation Research Society, and the Japanese Health Physics Society, who really supported us and who made it possible, and who also made it possible that there were a lot of satellite events around the symposium, which of course also increased the ICRP's visibility. Now, what is the future? As ICRP 2023 is almost history. Well, the future is ICRP 2025, of course, as you know. We organize it every second year. And it is my real pleasure to already mention that we will come to Abu Dhabi in 2025. In a minute, we will get some more details about Abu Dhabi. So we are really looking forward to come to Abu Dhabi. And I hope we will see you all there in 2025. And with this, I would like, again, thank you for coming. I would like to thank the organizers here in Japan, those who supported us financially and with their workforce. Thank you very much.
Many thanks, Werner. And now we can turn, in fact, to perhaps the key person of the meeting. Oh, I think, isn't it Reiko? I think it's a few words for Reiko Kanda first, the lead organizer at QST, our very excellent hosts. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Reiko Kanda, the Director General of NIRS QST. As the Chair of Local Organizing Committee, I extend thanks to all attendants. This is also an opportunity for me to share a few words as we conclude this event. Last year in Vancouver, I delivered a speech inviting attendees to ICRP 2023 and said that we hope many of you will land in Japan like wild geese that come to Japan in the autumn. At that time, we were concerned about the future of the COVID-19 pandemic a year later. We are seriously worried about a drop in the number of attendees for ICRP 2023, which would be the second year in a row. However, there was no need to worry. The COVID-19 pandemic has demonstrated the benefits of online meetings as well as the importance of in-person meetings. We would like to thank all participants as the attendees exceeded our initial expectations. For the second year in a row, the organization of the symposium posed a challenge to the planning of the scientific program. The program committee chaired by Mr. Clement undertook the task. During the planning phase, we received the valuable feedback from the organizations you can see. To facilitate maximum participation in ICRP 2023, we have also received support from many international and national organizations. I'm deeply grateful to them. A special aspect of this symposium is the collaboration of many domestic academic societies associated with radiological protection. These societies have organized annual conferences and satellite events throughout Japan before and after ICRP 23. More academic societies than you can see here also took part in promoting ICRP 2023, adding to the momentum for this event to be held in Japan. I consider the support we have received from ministries and agencies to be an essential factor in securing the cooperation of national organizations. I would like to express my gratitude to all members of the program committee and the local organizing committee, as well as my colleagues of QST who shared in the joys and challenges of organizing ICRP 2023. Of course, all of you are the most important contributors to the success of ICRP 2023. Thank you so much for your participation. We believe that the true value of this symposium will be evaluated in the future. It's our wish that it will be recognized by future generations as a significant step forward in the improvement of radiological protection, contributing to the enrichment of human relations, recovery, and peace, as this logo means. I promise that we will continue to work hard to achieve, and I would like to hand over to the next host country. We look forward to seeing you in 2 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Reiko, and all your colleagues at QST who've done such a wonderful job, as I said. So, as Reiko just said, it's time to look to 2025 now, I think. So we have Daniele Grifida and Buthiana from the United Arab Emirates to tell us a little bit more.
Thank you, Simon. Ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, friends, it's a distinct honor for us to be here today, standing in front of you and confirming that the next ICRP symposium will be in the United Arab Emirates. I also want to thank Werner and QST for the organization of this symposium, the largest symposium ever of ICRP in such a beautiful venue. As you can imagine, panic is setting in now. We are preoccupied. We'll be able to do better than this biggest symposium. Now, myself and Buthain El-Anri, we work for the regulator in the UAE, FANAR, the Federal Authority for Nuclear Regulation. And you may recall that in the many symposia of ICRP, already in 2013, the symposium took place in Abu Dhabi. Now, Abu Dhabi that you will find in 2025 is different from Abu Dhabi then. The Louvre Museum was not open yet. The Presidential Palace was not open at that time. The Zayed Museum most probably will be open in 2025, inshallah. So many changes in a society which is changing rapidly, and my colleague Buthaina will tell you more about the UAE and the creation and mission of FANAR and the culture of Abu Dhabi and the UAE. To me, the pleasure maybe of the last bullet list in this symposium, the list of the many activities that we have done in collaboration with ICRP in these years. It's a collaboration which started before the symposium in 2013, and there are several collaboration agreements that we have signed throughout the years and led not only to the organization of the symposium, but to events related to medicine, radiation protection in medicine, in 2016 at the Cleveland Clinic, Abu Dhabi. The participation of FANAR and the UAE as one of the first supporters of the initiative Free the Annals, such an important initiative for all of the practitioners in radiation protection. The organization of the first UAE Radiation Protection Week back in 2018. The workshop on radiotherapy that took place last year in December, and the second UAE Radiation Protection Week just earlier this year in March. Now we are looking forward to organize more events in collaboration with ICRP. We have a plan for an internal dosimetry training course, a topic which is very important for the UAE and for the region, and a one-day event next year on the review and the revision of the system, and possibly other events, including the next symposium. I will leave the floor to my colleague Buthaina, and she will tell you more about the UAE, FANAR, and Abu Dhabi.
So, quick information about your next ICRP venue. The UAE is located in the Gulf region. It shares borders with Saudi Arabia and Oman. In numbers, the population of UAE is around 10 million as of 2021. And UAE is considered a young country as it has been founded in 1971. And soon, in December, 2nd of December, we'll be celebrating the 52 years. UAE is recognized as a country where impossible does not exist in its glossary. So, in fact, it's the only country in the world that has established Ministry of Possibilities. The ministry's aims towards working on proactive and disruptive solutions to tackle critical issues and meet UAE ambitious agenda. So apart from being a nuclear embarking country where it established and constructed, operated the nuclear power plant, the first nuclear power plant in the region, UAE has other recent achievements such as the UAE space program, which was launched in 2019, and the first norm descaling and treatment facility in the region to serve the oil and gas industry. As a federal authority, we, FANAR, we play a vital role in achieving the UAE government agenda through our vision, mission, values, and strategic objectives by establishing robust regulatory infrastructure in safety, security, and safeguard within the country. So to that, I will leave you with the corporate video of FANAR And just to note that it's a bit old. It was created before the operation of the first unit in UAE, and the first unit operated in February 2020.
Cities and industries also expand. Nowhere faster than here in the UAE. Such growth needs a clear vision and strategic planning. The UAE government realized that in order to meet growing demands for electricity, they needed to consider new ways to produce energy. After a study, the government decided in 2008 that nuclear power offered clean, reliable and cost-effective electricity and should be added to the UAE's energy mix. In 2009, the UAE government established Federal Authority for Nuclear Regulation, known as FANA, to ensure that applications using nuclear and radiation technologies in the UAE are conducted safely in a secure and peaceful way. Through FANA's high standards of licensing, the UAE government has been able to help the nation benefit from nuclear technologies while protecting people and the environment from unnecessary exposure to radiation. FANA also works to prevent dangerous materials from falling into the wrong hands. FANA regulates all usage of nuclear and radioactive materials and technologies in the UAE. The medical field, for example, uses nuclear technology to diagnose and treat many health conditions. Other areas that FANA oversees include the import, transport and storage of nuclear and radioactive materials and their use within industry, such as the construction and oil sectors. Translating this responsibility into action, the UAE government has committed itself to complete operational transparency to the highest standards of safety and security and to a peaceful nuclear energy program. To enhance global cooperation, the UAE works closely with the International Atomic Energy Agency and with several countries with advanced nuclear energy programs. The steps the government has taken will ensure that the program not only benefits the UAE, but also sets a global model for other countries to develop nuclear energy programs. FANA has signed agreements with regulatory bodies of leading nuclear energy producing countries. These provide for an open exchange of new technologies, safety methods, research, personnel and training, employing a combination of highly skilled international and Emirati experts. FANA invests heavily in developing a homegrown capability to regulate the nuclear sector for generations to come. Very soon, the UAE will be among the group of nations producing nuclear energy, and FANA is a cornerstone of this vision. With technical competence and strong management, FANA contributes to the UAE's future by overseeing the safe, secure, and peaceful use of nuclear energy.
Okay. So here, if you want to know more about FANA, you may scan the barcode to have the annual report, which was just issued. This is the 2022 annual report. And finally, I will leave you with the video of Abu Dhabi.
In Abu Dhabi, our culture spans generations. Our creativity runs deep. Through it, we reach out to each other. We reach out to the world. The foundation of our culture weaves us together. Each one of us adding, connecting, inspiring, creating, This spectrum of shared identity, a rich painting of where we are and where we are going. Together, we connect with our past. Together, we create our future. Together, we become who we are. We are our culture. And through it, we all belong.
So many thanks to Daniele and Buthina, and very much looking forward to visiting UAE in 2025. So for the last word, I'd just like to hand over to Werner once more as we come to a close.
Yes, thank you very much. This is my last duty of the day. I usually should have a hammer now. So this is the closing remark of this symposium. Thanks a lot for all of you for coming, and we all wish you a safe travel back home, wherever your home might be. Thanks for coming. Once again, thanks for the organizers here, and I hope we will all meet again at least in 2025 in Abu Dhabi at the latest. Thank you very much.